May it please the court, if there's no bribe, there's no crime. Now, in June of 2013, police detective Mickey Keenan began an undercover operation at the Midlands Gambling Commission. He was there to look for signs of corruption. And in his 2-year investigation, he found quite a few things. One thing he found was a dedicated public servant, Chase Covington, the chair of the Midlands Gambling Commission. And he watched as she went about her job, doing everything she could to do what was best for Midlands. He also met Avery Bancroft, the owner of the Black Bear Casino. He saw Avery Bancroft lobby and campaign to try and get a second casino license. And he also found out exactly how much work goes into giving that casino license. He saw countless meetings, proposals were submitted, facts were reviewed. He watched as Miss Covington went over every single detail to figure out which proposal was best for Midlands. But in a 2-year investigation, there's one thing he didn't see. He never saw a bribe. He never saw a crime. Now, in April of 2015, Chase Covington met with Avery Bancroft 2 times. The first was on April 13th, and they met in a hotel room at the Black Bear Casino. Now, Avery Bancroft went over all the details of his proposal, went through the economic benefits, the benefits to the community, went through why he thought his was best for the state of Midlands. And at the end of that meeting, Chase Covington walked away with a lot more information, but still a few questions. The one thing she didn't walk away with was a bribe. And 3 days later, just a day before the vote, she met again on April 16th with Avery Bancroft. They met only briefly. They met on the blackjack floor of the Black Bear Casino. And again, they discussed the details of the proposal, why it would be best for Midlands. And Miss Covington walked away with a briefcase, her own briefcase. She didn't walk away with a bribe. And to prove bribery, the prosecution has to show 3 points. 1, that Chase Covington was a public official, and nobody contests that. Ms. Covington's proud of her work on the Midlands Gambling Commission. She's proud to be a public servant. But the other 2 points, the prosecution has to prove. They need to prove that Ms. Covington accepted a bribe, that she took money. They also need to prove that such a bribe would have changed the way she voted, would have affected her decision. And they will not prove either of those things. Because right now, Chase Covington is innocent. At the end of this trial, Chase Covington will still be innocent. And the only way that changes is if the prosecution proves beyond a reasonable doubt that she took a bribe. And they won't be able to do that. You're going to hear from 3 witnesses from the defense today. Now, Chase Covington will come before you and explain that when she asked, "What do you have for me?" she was asking about the proposal. She was asking, what will this proposal do for me? What will this proposal do for the people I represent? You'll also hear from J.D. Lorien, an FBI investigator, and she'll explain that based on the evidence we've heard, we can't know what happened in that April 13th meeting. She'll explain that we have no proof that there was a bribe on April 13th. And then finally, we'll hear from blackjack dealer Allie Thomas. And he'll tell us that he was the only witness to the April 16th meeting between Avery Bancroft and Chase Covington. He'll explain to you that he never saw any sort of exchange occur, that he never saw a bribe. At the end of this trial, you'll have heard testimony from 6 different witnesses. You'll have heard arguments from 6 different attorneys. But you won't have heard any evidence that a bribe occurred, because there was no bribe. And so at the end of this trial, my co-counsel, Mr. Mitchell Bill, will come before you and ask you to find Chase Covington not guilty. Because if there is no bribe, then there is no crime. Thank you.